welcome everybody to the Lashley Podcast with Matt the Honey Badger Gottemeyer. Today we, you just love that, don't you? Yeah. Today we're going to talk about food. I put the titles kind of like food boundaries and discipline.
I thought maybe we were going to talk about how to eat healthy out of a dumpster or something like that. Not this week.
Well, raccoons do that on a daily basis, I guess. So I'd like to hear your input on that, though. Or are you just saying
let's say I got like 15, 20 minutes worth, so let's save that for another.
Or even better, let me know what you think about this topic. We could do how to eat healthy out of a McDonald's dumpster.
Even better. You can combine my two favorite topics into one.
Beautiful. So, Matt brought up this topic. I thought it was a really good topic. Can you give us a brief rundown of kind of like what you told me before we started the podcast? You know what I'm saying? What you were saying about
like the two examples I used were, let's say somebody started, I don't know, a diet or some kind of workout and exercise program, and they're 3 days into it, and it's a Saturday, and your friends call and say, "Hey man, we're going up to BW3s. We're gonna watch a football game or a fight or something." You could go up there, stick to your diet, whatever it may be, hang out with your friends, enjoy your friends, the game. But I feel like most people go, "Oh, well, everybody else is eating wings and drinking a bunch of beer and blah, 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 so I'm going to too."
Right.
And then the next day you feel like you're starting all over again or something. And then the other example was people having, man, this, I feel like I'm swallowing it or something.
Swallow.
Having emotional responses to things that happen in your life, and then, you know, whether it's, well, I'm not going to go to the gym today, or like you said, I'm going to eat a whole pack of Oreos because work sucked, or my boyfriend broke up with me, or something.
Right.
Instead of, well, that's what we're going to get into,
how
to deal with it.
Right, yeah, how to deal with it. Yes, I thought it was a super good topic, right? Because I think everybody deals with that. Do you still deal with it, even though you're the most disciplined man in the world?
I mean, even days, like you'll have us over for, let's say, Ohio State-Michigan game, and if it's a day I'm eating a certain way, like most of the time I just sit there and drink water, right?
Well, right. Is it hard, though?
I mean,
at some extent.
At some point it was, but not anymore.
Right, because you created
right,
that.
Because it's been years. But my point is, I go there to watch a game, to hang out with my friends, and I still get to do those things just because I'm not eating the pizza and eating the chocolate chip cookies or whatever. It's like really the food has nothing to do with. I think there's a social thing that's like
that comes with that, where you think, okay, well, I'm going over to XYZ's house, and I have to, like, they're gonna have pizza, and I mean, a lot of people drink beer or whatever.
Except us,
yeah. Except us. I'm not a real big beer drinker, but they'll go over and have drinks or whatever. Like, you don't have to do that. Like, what I'm saying, what you're saying, like you can go over, you can drink water. Or I don't know, like people have veggie trays and stuff.
Now there's nothing more manly than watching a football game and eating a veggie tray.
Eating a veggie tray.
But like that game or whatever it is, 3-4 hours, right? That we'll just say give in to eating or whatever, versus like what you're really working for, long term, and that you want to keep long term, right? Now that 3 hours, as we tell everyone, isn't going to one meal or whatever isn't going to ruin all your weight loss plans, if that's what we're talking about or something. But just the whole idea of, if you're trying to be consistent and you're trying to build that like discipline or that strength of like, because I feel like it's in some way we all got into the gym because, I don't know, we give into our weaknesses a lot.
Right.
Yeah. So you want to start building that. No, just because so-and-so is having all this pizza and junk or whatever, I'm not going to, because that's what I struggle with.
Right. So let me ask you this. I think this is what a lot of people struggle with, how to do that. Right. So how did you start to do that? Like, right. Not everybody's as tough as you. Right. Right.
Right.
No, but I mean, seriously, I know everybody has to process emotions, right, or deal with, and a lot of that comes with like, okay, food is really emotional eating a lot of the times.
Right.
So like for me, what I was getting into, like my suggestion, like kind of helped me was setting, non-negotiables or boundaries to whatever you're doing in your life. So like, you have like those rules or whatever. So you know what I'm saying? You have, instead of going in, like some people can do this, right? Like I feel like you're super disciplined, and you could be like, I'm just not gonna eat pizza tonight, right? Just because I'm not going to. And you just have like that mindset, and you can go do it. Which obviously, I think everybody can get to that point.
But how do you get to that point?
Right, how do you get to that point? Because you have to, right? I mean, you just can't just go, I'm just going to do that right now, right? It makes it 10 times harder to do that if you never had that discipline before.
I think when I was talking to a client about this last week, I think when I was trying to lose weight, and I'd have days like we're talking about, and waking up the next day and just getting to the point where like you're sick and tired of all your BS.
Right.
You're sick and tired of the excuse that like I have to do this because, or I did that because X, Y, or Z. Right? Feeling like you're starting over, feeling like you're weak, feeling like you're a failure. Like I'm done with that.
Right.
Right. I'm going to stick to this. Like we all want to, when we tell someone, we want to tell someone something, we want to keep our word, right? Why can't we keep our word to ourselves?
Right. It's probably the most hardest thing to do. So because
you're going to let yourself off the hook.
Right. Like versus with those other people, you're not right. You can't get off.
Yeah.
Right. You can't get off.
But
the hook.
it's the same thing I tell people all the time. You're going to go to work every day.
Right.
You're going to be a parent every day. You don't take 6
you're
days from being a parent. Right.
Well, you're supposed to.
So why don't you show up at the gym every day?
Right.
Because I have to make money. Well, why don't you have to do something for your health?
Or
your body,
absolutely.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Why don't you have to do something for your kids?
So what did you do to help like make that transformation? Besides like I think what you do a lot of times is like a change of state, right? What I mean by that change of state is your mentality. You know what I'm saying? You use that. You have a very strong mentality or willpower and everything. And you can at this point you can change your state to be like, I'm just not gonna You're just not gonna eat this.
I don't know that I changed my state. I just feel like that's the way. Like there's certain things I do every single day, and I can't remember the last time I didn't do that.
Right.
Being sick, being injured, being tired, being on vacation, having a busy day where everything went wrong. All this stuff, like you learn, is just crap you tell yourself so that you don't have to do what you don't want to do.
Right. So you can just take the easy road.
All we ever want to do is do what we feel like doing. Like there's on top of that list of all injuries and sickness and stuff like that is including the days when the last thing I feel like doing is lifting weights.
Right.
Right. And we get into like, we brought this up in the beginning, like all the emotional stuff. Something goes wrong in your life and you want to skip the gym, get drunk, eat crap. Like the same thing when you drink. You can have a bad day and go drink. When you wake up in the morning and you're hungover or whatever, your problem is still there.
Right. You still have to go work out or whatever.
Fine. You escaped it for 3 hours.
Right.
Right. Like deal with whatever the problem is, like an adult. Still follow through on all your responsibilities for that day.
Right.
Right. And take whatever that problem was head on and deal with it. Maybe you have to talk to somebody else. Maybe you have to confront yourself with something.
Right.
And move on with life.
Oh, right? Absolutely.
Instead of, and I also felt like because I go through depression and stuff like that too. Like, let's say you're really going through something, so you just kind of, you call off work and you stop going to the gym and you go back to all your old habits. You're going to come out of that.
Right.
And when you come out of that depression, you are going to be so pissed that you gave up on all that stuff. Maybe you're down a little bit of money. Maybe a relationship got ruined. Maybe it's mindset. I mean, there are rules like fasting. There are rules. I know you have your rules like Monday through Friday, and that helps. But you also have to get into this like.
Well, you have to have I call it change of state, or I mean, you know what I'm saying, a mindset. But I think with that though, to make sure that doesn't fail, like what I do, you have to what I call I set like boundaries or non-negotiables, right? So, like for example, like I struggle with depression as well, pretty bad sometimes, and like one of my things that I changed this year, I kind of did last year, but I realized like this year, and it's worked out really well. Is I know like every single day, one of my non-negotiables is I have to exercise like every single day, right? Like that's a not.
And you started doing Sundays, which you never did before.
Right, and so, but what people too is like if we make a habit simple and easy, right? We're gonna execute it every single day, right? So we make it difficult. So that's why I said like I'm gonna like I said, I never worked out on Sundays, right? So what I did was I have to at least work out for 5 minutes on Sunday, right? That like minimally. It's like some Sundays I'm just not gonna feel it, so like I'm just gonna go. I literally might work out for 5 minutes, but I still exercise every single day, creating that habit. And also for exercise, I kind of changed my thought process of exercising. Like I'm thinking, okay, every single day I have to come into the gym and like try to kill kill myself or work out hard. Like my Sundays could be like exercising, right, which I think is great for people for recovery and everything. It's just taking walks, right? Yeah. Like I might go take a 2 or 3 mile walk, with my wife or whatever by myself, but that's still exercising. And so that's something that has changed. Like it's one of my non-negotiables. I literally exercise every single day, and I think I guess you say boundaries or non-negotiables could be like the same kind of thing. But you set your boundaries or non-negotiables. Like if it's a Thursday night, like I'm not going to eat, like my day or whatever is Friday night or Saturday is my cheat day, right? And you like friends want to go like, hey, let's go to B-Dubs Thursday night. We get together and seen everybody in a while, whatever. Like even if they say they're not going to get drinks, not going to get bad food, you're going to B-Dubs with a bunch of friends. Like they're probably going to drink beer, they're probably going to get hot wings, they're probably going to maybe eat chocolate cake, whatever. So, you have to realize that okay, I cannot do this until Saturday. That's where that can maybe come in to help you enforce that, right? That mind or that willpower, to say this is like my rules or my boundaries or my non-negotiable. I have to wait until Saturday, to do that. And the next thing I was going to bring up too, where I think,
can I say one?
Yeah. Go ahead.
And this, I feel like this is why we got into this in the first place. You can still go out with your friends and watch the game or just hang out. It doesn't always have to be a game or a fight or something.
Right.
And this is the way it was for me when I quit drinking and stuff. Like, if I'm hanging out with a bunch of people and someone says something funny, it's funny whether I'm eating crap and drinking beer or not.
Well, right.
A good conversation is always a good conversation. The alcohol and the food has nothing to do with it. It's the people you're with that you get the happiness from, not the food and the drink and stuff like that.
Right.
I think that's a big,
It's a big misthought on stuff. Yeah. I 100% agree with that. Like what Matt said, you can still go with them. Like that's going to obviously test your discipline and your boundaries and stuff.
It's going to be easier if you want to stick to that to not go.
Right.
But you want to get to a place where I'll go.
Right. Because life's not about right.
Because now you're missing out on.
Right, missing out on your social aspect of life. And that's not what life's about, right? It's not about just I just have to basically lock myself in the basement.
Well,
so I can't.
And all this stuff we're talking about, we're not saying you have to work out 7 days a week, and we're not saying you can't have wings and beer and we're just trying to make a point. And I feel like that state you're talking about,
right?
This working out 7 days a week, that's what puts me in the state. I'm going to get things done every day. There's a to-do list. There's all these things. And like I said, when you like Nicole does 75 hard.
Right.
And what that taught her is that if she gets 2 workouts done every single day, 1 indoor, 1 outdoor, she reads 10 pages a day.
I think something like that, yeah.
There's a couple other stipulations. You can get this stuff done if you cut out all the crap in your life. The social media, the TV, the video games, the whatever.
Right.
So then remove 75 hard and just make that your life.
Right, and that comes into a whole other topic. We start talking about time, right? I'm saying time management and everything, which is super important. Actually essential. I think if you're not in charge of your time, someone else or something else is, right?
Right.
So if you're not in charge of it, that TV, literally the TV might be in charge of your time, and you don't want the TV to be in charge of your time because, it's not gonna result in you having, getting done what you want to get done. That should be a topic for next week.
Let's remember that.
But the last thing I want to bring into before we wrap this up, going out with friends, right? So one thing I know I've dealt with, I'm sure you've probably dealt with, is peer pressure, right? So that's the other thing is maybe I think we should elaborate a little bit, kind of maybe some things that I did or you did. You're going out. Obviously, I think everybody has their identity, right? If you identify, which let me say this, let me know if you agree with this. I don't think you can identify as two people. Cannot.
No.
Right? You can't identify as a fat person, and you can't identify as a fit person. Make sense?
Yes.
Well, I said that very blunt.
Well, no, that's fine.
Right.
I was thinking about the other things that everybody's identifying as right now.
Not going there.
Okay.
Okay. But right, you can't identify as a fit person. You can't identify as a fat person. I mean, like your identity, like what makes you you. What, okay, leave out all the
right. We know.
Okay, yeah. But so like what I'm saying is like if you go like for example, right? You don't drink. You're like you've been sober so many years. If you go to a party, like a get together with friends or whatever, and let's say there's some people drinking. Right. If someone asks you, "Hey, do you want a drink?" You don't go and say, "Okay, I just don't drink tonight," or "I don't want anything to drink tonight." You go,
I don't drink.
I don't drink. Right. I am sober. That's an identity, right? And that's powerful.
And this word's only in my head because you've used it. That's non-negotiable.
And that's non-negotiable, right?
Right. I've had people say to me, "Well, just tonight," and you can. Like, I know I don't work that way. And second of all, I don't, I made a promise to my daughter when she was 1,
right.
And that's non-negotiable.
Right.
Right. And there's nothing out there that could ever make me do that again.
Absolutely.
So don't even.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. That's what I was getting at. So if you're going to, with your friends to, like, we'll just do the B-dubs thing, right? You could use that to empower yourself as far as being like I don't eat junk, like I'm a fit person, right? I'm saying I don't know exactly how you want to word it or whatever, but you say I'm not going to eat garbage, right? I don't eat garbage, like I'm a fit person, I exercise, and right that can kind of identify. I think it cuts down peer pressure, right? I mean, as soon as you say, right? I'm just using this because I think it's a good example of like you don't drink, right? I don't really drink. But you go and say like, hey, as soon as your group of friends and you're like, they ask you, hey, do you want to have a drink tonight? And you're like, no, I don't drink. I've been sober for X amount of years. Like, I bet you no one's going to ask you to have a drink again after that.
Well,
like
yeah.
it cuts peer pressure. And I think the same thing if you're talking about bad eating to everything, like all the other people are doing it. It doesn't have to be alcohol. It doesn't have to be alcohol. Just eating, pizza.
It might not even be peer pressure in the sense of, come on, man, have some. Sometimes it's, getting a hard time for it.
Well, that's usually what it is, because that's what happens to me when I go to a friend's house during the. And like sometimes like I will eat pizza with them. So like Friday or Saturday, like sure, whatever. But that's when it gets challenging, right? When we go over like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night, and it's like, no, dude, I can't.
Right.
Like I don't eat that. I don't eat this.
Right. On those days, that's
right. Right.
That's your thing. So we're not telling anybody what they're right.
Right.
We're using examples like, mine's fasting and I eat dinner twice a week when I have my kids and I eat whatever I want. And on the other days, I don't. So everybody, the point is sticking to whatever it is, or this is sticking to who you are.
Right.
Or who you want to be.
Right.
And that's going to be different for everyone.
Absolutely. But we're just trying to give you examples, tools, and things.
Right.
So you can make you could take something out of this and be like, right, okay, I can set a non-negotiable. I can set my identity, like I can identify who I want to be. Right? I want to be a fit person, or I don't smoke. I'm not a smoker. I'm not a drinker. You could put anything there, right? You can claim that identity. You can set your non-negotiables. You can change your state, your mentality, and potentially change like everything in your, everything in your life.
Right. And this, I know we're running long on time, and this could be another subject sometime. But what you just said reminded me the difference between people who come in this gym or do anything in life and say either I'm going to try my hardest or I'm going to do my best to whatever.
Right.
Versus the people who come in and say I'm going to do this.
The big difference.
Huge.
Yeah. There's even I'll have to look up the studies. There's even studies that say like there's a huge percentage of better success rate.
When you say I'll try my best or something like that, you're just you're putting that safety net underneath you that says, well, I did my best and I failed, but that's all I can do.
Right.
Yeah. Versus the people who say, I'm going to do this, they already made the decision in their head. Now they just have to do the work.
Right.
And they're going to stick to it and all that stuff. So.
Amen, brother. So do you got anything else?
Nope, that's it.
This was the Lashley Podcast. Thank you for listening. Remember, whatever you do in your life is going to echo into eternity, baby. So if you believe it, you can achieve it, and we'll see you in the gym soon.